In this video, I want to break down a couple things that I absolutely am blown away by this week. One of the things is I got to talk to somebody that I uh, look up to in terms of like, hey, this person has created a great product, a great service, one that you probably know, um, and if you're in marketing, you definitely should know this. Another thing that I'm grateful for this week was launching the clog. I did another video on that, but just like getting it out into the world. We haven't released it yet, but getting it out into the world, which is an amazing thing because we are now pre-selling it or now pre-hyping it, and we will begin selling it on the 28th, and today's like the 12th or 13th. And the last thing is keeping my head up. Even though there's a lot of things going on in my world right now, I am continuing to be mindful of what is most important and keeping my head up and making sure that I am not keep putting my head down. And I'll get into that in a second here, but I have a tendency when I have a lot on my plate to put my head down and just try to go. And if you're like me at all, you get what I'm saying. And you end up missing things. You end up missing a lot of important things in personal life and in your team's world, and overall things aren't as good as they can be. It's this weird dichotomy, and I'll get into that here in a second. So first thing is I got to connect with the CEO of Incense. If you're not familiar with Incense, they are a UGC sourcing tool, basically a place where you can find creators and work with them and partner with them, whether you want to just do organic seeding with them, or you want to do whitelisting through their accounts where you run ads through their accounts, or you can hire them to just deliver content with you. Now, why this is really cool is getting to connect with the CEO of Incense. He had emailed me. I'm sure he didn't just email me, but he emailed people who have used the product but have since canceled. And it was really cool. I learned a lot from him in terms of here is why you should talk to your customers, because talking to your customers unlocks a wealth of knowledge that you may not even realize is there. Obviously, he knows that because he's having these conversations with people, but we got into this interesting conversation around why I had left the product. And the main reason I had really left was I wasn't able to source creators as quick as I wanted and manage those projects. And so for the season, I decided I'm going to pull back on working inside of Incense. And the types of content we were getting wasn't performing. And ultimately, I realized I just did not have enough attention on the platform itself. So I was able to share that with him. Like, it was less about the product, although there are some things that I'm going to share here in a second that I think could have been improved by the product, but it was more so about my own bandwidth and my own leadership capabilities at the time. So the piece around it being the product, I shared those things with him. I shared with him little nuanced details. Like in Incense, you can essentially create a campaign. And for me, I was creating campaigns for chefs. And for chefs, I was saying, I wanted to ask, are you a chef? If so, how long have you been a chef? Because I wanted to make sure that we were getting chefs for these campaigns, not just creators who were going to pretend to be chefs. And I also asked them which restaurant they worked at. So when you're hiring creators, you would have to click into every one and read that response, and that would take a lot of time if you're sifting through 50 or 100 different creators. So it was really cool to share that feedback with him. He literally opens up a Figma file and he screen shares it with me and goes, we were actually just launched that feature. And he showed me like the actual live version of a beta test they have, and it was on there. And I'm like, wow, what a great founder to have, to be listening to the feedback and then implementing it right away. And this isn't only applicable to SaaS founders. This is something that we can do as in the world of e-commerce. Listening to and talking to your customers and taking that feedback and applying it is so valuable. And chances are, if one person's having the issue, other people are as well. So I'm going to do other videos on Incense and diving much deeper into it. But if you want to learn more about what that tool is, it's a tool that I've used in the past when I've run ads for Hey Dude and other brands. And it's an amazing tool to be able to seed product to influencers, to be able to find product market fit if you're a smaller store. And it's a way better use of ad spend to put the dollars into that instead of managing campaigns. So I would really recommend it, because at the end of the day, you're going to need content. So you can find a link below, and I think there's some sort of discount they gave me to share with you all. I forget what it is off the top of my head, but that is incense. So getting to talk with him was a highlight of the week. Learned a lot from him. I'm going to share more videos on that in the future. Next thing was getting to launch the clog. I shared a whole video about that I will link to at the end of this video, sharing about what was so awesome about the clog. But at a high level, what I found was the most awesome thing was seeing everything come together. I think it was really cool to be able to work on a project and bring the creative vision that I worked with the team on to develop to life. We were positioning it as the all-day work shoe, meaning the shoe that you can wear on the clock and off the clock, and truly it's a lifestyle shoe. And I was trying to communicate that through visuals and the photography and the copy and everything, but what I wanted to do was not explicitly come out and say, this is exactly what this shoe is. And we were able to do that. We built out this long page around, like, from morning to night, like 7 a.m., the commute. Then they were going to the farmer's market and using like this analog digital time and all of that. And so had that page, got a lot of great photography at the butcher shop and a farmer's market, and really just was able to bring this whole thing to life. What I learned about this project deeply in my heart and soul was, it's one thing to be a creative alone, and I have been a creative for 10 plus years, but it's another thing to take the creative vision you have, be willing to say, I wonder what vision other people have around this shoe and product, collaborate with them, and then allow them to run with their piece of the vision, and know when to speak into it and know when to say, okay, that's not what I originally had in mind, but that's a great piece of it. And it's a delicate balance. It's really like a dance. And I was telling somebody on my team, our creative director, I was telling him, I feel like doing that, and he's more on the product side, so he's creating the product. And I was telling him, I feel like it's one thing to do things on your own, but when you're doing it with a team, it's another level of discipline of what to say, what not to say, because you don't want to stifle the team's creativity, but you don't want the product to be portrayed in a way that doesn't represent it properly. So that was something that I'm really proud of, and that I am also really grateful that I got to do. Lastly, the last one on the list that I had for this week, of something that I'm really grateful for, I'm literally spacing on it. I'm like, don't space on it. Oh, the balance of it all, the balance of making sure that I am making time and leaving energy and mental bandwidth to be present at home. We finished up my son's baseball this week, so I was able to finish coaching with him this week. Is my first season coaching baseball, and in no way am I a baseball coach. I just wanted to make sure that they had a great season, and no other parents were stepping up to coach, and there was not going to be a team if they didn't have a coach. So I said, sure, I'll do it. I'm open to it. I'm open to failing and learning and growing. And that is what I really feel like was a theme for this week for me, was being open to learning and growing through failure, even if it's not exactly how you planned it in your head. That is the part of the process that I think is always difficult to go through, because it would be nice to do one thing very well, but when you have multiple things on your plate in the CMO role, it can be a lot on your plate. It can be a lot of feeling like you truly cannot do things to the level that you would want them to be done. And that's where you have to bring in team. That's where you have to start going beyond yourself and growing into the team and trusting the team to do things well, and guiding the team and being there for the team and giving them space, but not disconnecting so much that they are looking for guidance. So I feel like that was the theme of home and of work, was a lot going on, but making sure that I am close enough to it to still communicate and be present, but far enough away from it that I'm not in the weeds of everything. And so it's a tension I'm learning to manage. I'd be interested to know, how do you manage leading others? How do you think about leading others? Like, what have been your experiences in doing that? Because I'd love to learn from you as well. So those are the three things that I would say I'm most proud of this week, and that as I look back on this week and as I watch this video in the future, I'll be grateful for this week. I am grateful for this week. Like I said, it was a lot of things coming at once. I was sleeping a little bit less than I'd like to. Usually I like sleeping 7 to 8 if I can get 7 to 8. But I was sleeping more like 5 this week. And to be honest, it feels a little draining. Like I feel a little drained, but I want to get some good rest tonight, have a great date night with my wife. Got some burgers from this local spot called Ace Burger. I'm a vegan, or vegetarian, so eat a lot of plant-based foods, and got these little plant-based burgers from there. Also was great to spend time with my buddy Gian at a local spot here in Charlotte. It was I don't even know what it's called, but it's like a local meetup spot where you can, like a WeWork, but less corporate looking, more chill vibes in there. Kind of looks like my office if you've ever watched any of my other videos. It's pretty like moody and vibey in there, and it's like $12 a month, and so it's a cool little spot that's local, 24 hours. So we really hung out for a while there and just connected. So overall, amazing week. I think any week honestly can be an amazing week if you are able to make time to find what was in it that was amazing and get out of your head and share with others. Hey, here's a couple things that were awesome this week. And I think we train our minds, honestly, at the end of the day, to look for the good. And I think that's a beautiful thing. So if you made it this far in the video, that means you're a real one. Pinky promise. You already know what the pinky promise is, that I promise to hold nothing back in these videos. And in return, all I ever ask is if you've got anything positive and I've positively impacted your life through this video, whether it's related to marketing or something else, just leave me a comment and let me know how so. That's all I ever ask, and I will see you in the next video. Oh, and until then, you can check out this video right here. This video right up here. That one. Yes. I actually selected this one especially for you. Alright, I'll see you. Oh, you're still there. Yeah, go ahead and click it. I'll see you in that one.